only wants you to make good beer and have fun hanging out with your friends. Here's Dono.
What is up, people? We are in the middle of another brew day. Have you heard of this Philly sour business? It's new within the last at least couple of years, and I wanted to try it, and we'll get into that in a second. What this says is Philly sour is a species, unique species of, I'm not going to pronounce that word. You want me to try it? Lachingia? Pure strain active dried yeast. Produces moderate amounts of, wait for it, lactic acid. So that is kind of what we're doing here. Now, Northern Brewer made a video. They have this kit, and it's a real low gravity beer. Theirs lists at 1036, not much hops, ½ ounce at 10 minutes, and then there's 5 ounces of corn sugar. So basically it's a 50-50 wheat, pills, grist, low hops, and this yeast is said to produce some sourness. How much? We will see. The corn sugar added at the end of the boil is supposed to help whatever components of this makes the sourness. So we're going to do that. The other thing that's interesting, if you look at this temperature range, is it goes pretty warm. And we're in the warmth now. So yeah, I mean, my house is like in the upper 70s, even with the air on. That's how we do it. So the boil is going. I upped the bill slightly from the Northern Brewer. I just did 4 pounds of each, and I'm hoping for the upper 1030s, maybe up to 1040. It's boil is going. You don't have to make a starter. You just can sprinkle it on. Some have said that works completely fine. Of course, the science yeast specialists would say to go ahead and rehydrate, but I think I'm just going to pour it on. But yeah, it's been in the 80s out here. It's hot. Yeah, I mean, it's just got the garden in. That stuff is coming along. That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a lot of tomatoes. I went to this different plant sale and got different unique tomato plants. So I have a number of those. So that'll be curious to see how they are compared to my typical ones. Got a few peas. My beans have been getting chowed down on by something. You can see all the holes. So don't really know what's up with that. I'm hoping they'll survive. These raspberries are coming in a lot. And then there's a bunch of cucumbers. Last year my cucumbers on the edge there did not do well. But what is doing well is my giant sunflower patch. In fact, I have a bunch of them, so I'm going to probably try to transplant them. And then, look what came back. Good people. Yeah, the little eye candy area. So, boil is going. Not a lot to show right now. Just going to get this boil going. Chill it down. Got to remember to add the corn sugar. And sprinkle the yeast in. Keep it warm. And see what happens. So a lot of times when it says add ½ an ounce here, ½ an ounce there, sometimes I just throw the whole ounce in. But in this case, I am just going to go with ½ an ounce, 10 minutes left in the boil. So not a lot of bitterness in this beer, but that should hopefully accentuate the tartness. Okay, it's been an hour. I turned the boil off. I have the prescribed 5 ounces of corn sugar. I'm going to just sprinkle it in here, but then after I turn off the camera, I'm going to lift out the wort chiller and give it a little stir. After that, it'll be time to chill. Okay, 5 gallons. It's going to be around 1040, maybe just over. Now, I did not do extra aeration. The questioning came up on some call about this, and they said they didn't do that. Not necessary. And then again, no yeast starter, and I'm not rehydrating. That's, you know, you can do that if you want. Did I get it all? Let's do a little tap. Otherwise, I've got the perfect temperature in the house. Upper 70s, so with a little extra temperature from the fermentation, maybe it'll be the lower 80s, but according to the specs, that should be okay. And it is said to accentuate the sourness, which is fine by me. So here's a little story about this Philly sour. It is now Tuesday afternoon. I brewed it Saturday. Chip warned me that it might not get actively fermenting for up to 48 hours. And I thought, okay, that seems like a long time. But I took his words, and it's now been over 72 hours. But it wasn't until yesterday, around the 48-hour mark, that it actually started getting a krausen. And it isn't until today that it's doing this bubbling. The other good news is, it is, oh, for heaven's sakes, it is 79, 80 degrees, depending on where I put the gun. So that is what we're aiming for. It's fermenting. It did start slow, but that was to be expected. It's gonna remain at about this temperature till it's done. So all that is going well.
Hot and dry, and like it cool and wet, man.
You know what?
Cool doesn't make sense. They do like it wet.
Look at Dawson's in the jungle. You're in the jungle, baby. Don't ruin my plant.
Bro.
Don't break it.
Gram, dog.
For the gram. Yeah, I don't know. Some of those have those weird flowery things, and some don't.
It's interesting. The hop, when it gets a male flower, smells like hoppy. This male flower also smells like kind of like the weed, like the core essence of it.
Yeah.
I'm getting baked. We're gonna do this.
All right, so here we go.
I'm gonna
I can go here. I'll be in the pit. It's like a little sunken pit. So we got the Philly Weisse in the glass, in the mouth. It got down to 10.06 from 1041. It fermented right around 80, which I think after the fact, or maybe even at the time, I don't know. I think they list publicly the max range of more like 85, 86. Maybe I could have pushed it. Maybe it would have got a little bit more tart or sour. This is the first time, I didn't do any video of it, but this is the first time I've ever taken a pH reading. 22 years of brewing, finally took a pH reading.
Cheers to
Congratulations.
shout out to that
to
fan.
me. And some nice viewer sent me a pH meter a couple years ago, and I finally calibrated it watching a YouTube video and took a reading. And I got 3.8, and I think this can be, I think I read on their website like 3.4, 3.5, you can get that low. I just read just now, somebody, when they were testing this yeast, 3 point, what did I say, 2?
Mm-hmm.
So I did not get as low as some of those cases. I don't know if that's a temperature thing. I added the 5 ounces of corn sugar as Northern Brewer recommended in their kit.
Yeah.
Anyway, does this make a sour-ish beer?
Yeah, it's definitely a sour beer for not being kettle sour, not being, to your point, the old days where like you could only start to get something like this way in a secondary process that just stretches everything.
Yeah,
out.
you
This
brew a
is-
beer and then you do something else
Yeah.
to make it
You
go
inoculate
sour.
it
If you
and-
just want
over
to
time.
brew a grist that you think would be nice sour and you put this in it, this is sour enough. More sugar will make it more sour in the case of this specific strain.
I wonder if I even would have
If
done,
you've done like a pound, it would
yeah,
have definitely gotten
3
tartar.
times as much.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, there is a flavor in this that Chip has put the term on that completely nails what it is.
It's yogurt, Greek
Plain
yogurt.
Greek yogurt. No sweetness,
Yeah.
just the plain, the white stuff, the yolk plain. the fruit on the bottom,
The
you're
milky
going
skim
down
off
the
the-
top, you're like,
But it's still a beer, right? I mean, it's still
yes.
it's
Yeah.
tart and sour,
Yep.
like the yogurt, but I'm not like having
It's
to
got-
force myself through it. Like,
It's got malt flavor.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right, but
A little
but
tangy.
if you have had a Berliner Weiss,
true,
that's like cleaner and leaner,
for sure.
it doesn't have that flavor or nearly as much of that
Yeah.
flavor.
Right.
And a pro brewer friend of ours says that this strain can do that. So I think there are other options out there if you also don't have kettle souring
Uh-huh.
or the patience for like this long thing. You know, there's
Well,
other
I'm
ways
not-
of getting this, but
Beholden to any particular thing. Like, what is another one? What is the other? Is there one other major?
well, the same Lallemand has a sour VCA.
Okay.
And it ferments differently. It doesn't. This one makes the lactic acid for the first couple of days, then the alcohol. Sour VCA makes both in tandem at the same time.
Okay. But this is a singular yeast strain
Yeah, that's
that
weird.
makes this very unique result. So I mean, it's pretty rad that like this was discovered,
Yeah.
tested, and
Yeah.
now you can go buy it, and you
Yeah.
can make something like this with. I don't know where it actually came from, but some jungle, some farm, you know, wherever it came from, it's
The
pretty
yeast?
cool. Yeah.
It came from a cemetery in Philly, which is why they call it Philly sour.
There you go.
It came from a dogwood tree, if I remember correctly.
Spooky.
Isn't that crazy? Like
That's
people
right.
just
That
out
is
there
crazy.
swabbing things, seeing what ferments, seeing what
How
works.
do you go bioprospecting in a cemetery? That seems like
I don't know, man.
Sure, it
asking
wasn't their
for
primary
zombies.
mission.
Oh. They're visiting the
No, there's
grandma.
a school up there. I'm not gonna like take over Don's video. There's a school in Philly that does that kind of stuff.
you got all the answers.
Oh, we did a video for Northern Brew. It's like, yeah,
That's a professional situation, not a backyard ditchweed and sunflower situation.
Yeah, what would we ferment if we did some bioprospecting in this
I don't
corner
know.
of your yard?
I did. Maybe I'll have to do hemp ale take two
plate it out,
later.
scrape it up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll work for this. But yeah, this was something I definitely wanted to try when I first
Yeah.
heard about this thing because I love the sour beers, and also, I mean, if it's a little easier to make one, like, sign me up. And,
Yeah.
yeah, but I would be curious to try the other one.
Yeah, and I would suggest, you know, and I've actually suggested to Don just now, if by the second half of this keg he's just over this beer, hit it with some puree, hit it with some kind of fruited thing, because like fruited sours are all the rage anyway.
Then I'll have a fruit yogurt beer.
Fruit yogurt, fruit on the bottom. I'm glad all the noises came
I
out.
know,
for
now
the
we
end of
got
this
a-
shoot. We had lawnmowers earlier. Now we
Yeah.
got an idling car in the alley.
I got this loud moth and this bee
Loud
flying
ass
around.
butterflies.
Come on,
Deafening.
man.
Please.
Get out of here. Go on. Okay, we're done.
All right.
All right, thanks for watching. Catch you later. And it was